Is your magic meter running low? Well, we've got a cure for you. Welcome to Disney Coast to Coast.
Hey folks, and welcome to Disney Coast to Coast, the ultimate unofficial Disney fan podcast. I'm Jeff DePaoli.
And I'm Patrick Dougal.
And Patrick.
Yes.
Once again, we have like the greatest viewers and listeners because
of course.
We were talking about the time capsule last week because there's one at Disneyland and there's one at DCA. And apparently there's video of one at when they put the one in DCA. And let's see, who was it? It was the Disney Geekette, as well as April Shelby, who contacted us and sent us the video.
Nice.
And so thank you for that.
We watched it.
We did, but I have to say I'm a little confused because I thought the whole purpose of a time capsule was like for it to be a secret, what was inside. So I found it strange that I'm like, they're revealing what's inside this time capsule. So I don't know. What?
I think a time capsule is just like what they did. They put things that are relevant at that time, and then when the time comes, they take it out and like, look how much things have changed.
But in 25 years, can't I just refer to the video instead of digging up a time capsule?
Yeah, but it's physical form.
Okay.
Physical form.
All right. And if I were to bury a time capsule, I probably wouldn't tell people what was in it, and I wouldn't have a video of it. Just saying. But
PR, folks.
It is PR. But DCA did it. I don't believe there's video out there of the Disneyland one. If there is,
send it to us.
Please send it to us. Find it and send it to us. We'd love to see it. But thank you for sending that to us. If you haven't seen it, we will put the video of that on our Facebook page. So make sure you check out the Facebook page.
And yes, there was a Duffy in there.
There's Duffy. Let's see. So it was. It's going to be opened in 2037. So it's 25 years after they buried it. And there was some interesting stuff, like kind of more generic than I expected. Like there's a PhotoPass in there and an annual pass. And they had like a piece of the Timon parking lot, which I thought was funny because that's now Cars Land.
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of High School Musical stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I kept noticing, like, I think it was High School Musical 3.
You would.
I did. And there's a lot of High School Musical. And just merch. And I think interesting, a BlackBerry. They felt was...
Yeah. Well, why not?
It had nothing to do with Disney, but a BlackBerry's in there.
And then there was some like specifically dated stuff, like a newspaper and stuff like that. So we'll see. 25 years.
So 2037, we'll be there.
Sure.
Let's just say we'll be there.
Yes.
So thank you for sending that in. And of course, there's so much Disney news going on within the company. Let's start off at Disneyland, where we spoke about it a little bit, but now we've officially seen it. The new Disneyland Band.
Yes.
And of course, this was a bit of a stink because they premiered on the 60th anniversary, which meant the original Disneyland Band that has been there since day one was fired the day before the 60th anniversary. So a big controversy. Having said all that, what did you think of them?
To be honest, there's no difference. I mean, they've obviously changed the music. They've done different sets. I've actually, like, one of my favorite ones doesn't really even highlight the band, but one of their first sets, the band goes to the train station with the Dapper Dans and all the characters, and they sing the Disneyland Forever fireworks song, Step Into the Magic. And so the band's playing that, Dapper Dans are singing, characters are dancing, and it's like, it's not a focused band part set, but I loved it. Yeah, I've noticed there's a lot of like music from within the parks, and not like traditional like Yo-Ho and no, it's definitely like full on
new
60th.
Stuff, like Soarin'.
Yeah.
There's this great medley they play that starts with World of Color, goes into Peter Pan, goes into Soarin', goes into Star Wars, into Pirates, into Cars, into Splash Mountain, into Indiana Jones, into the Haunted Mansion, and ends with Fantasmic. That's great. That's a great little medley. The difference is noticeable, I would say, as far as, the age of the performers are much younger.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot more movement. It's, if you're like a drum corps person or into marching bands, which I was in high school, or if you've ever just been to a football game in high school, it's like that kind of vibe. I enjoy it. Yeah. Very much.
It's very, very similar to what we get normally in the summer, which is the All-American College Band.
Yeah.
So it's just that it's almost like a year-round All-American College Band.
Yeah, they do. I will say, when I first heard about this and they're like, it's going to be younger and hipper, I thought that they were like going to be in neon uniforms and stuff like that.
You were thinking like Sensational beginning?
Kind of, yeah. So I'm very happy to say that it's a very traditional marching band. So like it still fits within the 1920s Main Street.
The only thing I have noticed is there's no longer the band leader Mickey.
Oh,
comes
okay.
out.
Oh, maybe that'll be later. Maybe they just need to fit him for
It's
his
right now.
uniform.
It's all 60th.
Okay. Well, that's true. Everything's 60th. I'm not crazy about the 60th costumes, to be honest. They're very blue. They're very blue.
Everything's blue.
Yeah, it's really, really blue. Not my favorite. But in any case, so that's the Disneyland Band. I know quite a few people have actually been saying, what do you think of it? And I kept saying, we'll talk about it on the show. They're great. Obviously, it's sad what happened to the original. I think there was space for both of them. But, the decision was made. It's still great live entertainment.
I like the old stuff. I like the new stuff. So
we like it all.
can't complain.
It says Disney in front of it, so
done.
We're pretty much fans. Let's see what else is going on over at DCA. There's an announcement recently about, of course, we all know Luigi's Flying Tigers closed pretty quickly after the opening of Cars Land. So the replacement is called Luigi's Rollickin Roadsters.
Of course it is.
This is supposedly Luigi's cousins are visiting, and they're having a dance party in celebration of the race. I have no concept as to what this... I mean, there have been a little bit of concept art, but I don't know... Like, I just keep picturing the Mater ride, the whip thing. Like, that's all it reminds me of.
Well, to me, like, when I think of just, like, a ride where there's, like, dancing involved, I'm like, I think of, like, there needs to be, like, lights and stuff. So do you think... I feel
but
like...
it's indoor. It's an outdoor
I was gonna
ride.
say, I feel like if they enclosed it and made it, like, black light and there's, like, lights going on, that'd be cool. But, I don't know.
Then it'd be cool. I love it. That would be more interesting. Obviously, look, they went the cheap route. It's still Luigi's ride so that they don't have to retheme it. It's going to be this, it's... I don't know. When all is said and done, I'll probably be like, it's probably as enjoyable as Luigi's Flying Tires.
I mean, Luigi's Italian, so is there, like, a specific Italian dance?
I don't know.
Let us know.
And I'm 100% Italian, so shame on me. But, I'm sure I don't know. We'll see. They announced it. It's
a thing.
To be honest, I don't really care.
Yeah. I'll ride it once.
I'll ride it.
Then probably.
How many times did you ride Flying Tires?
Once. And I rode
literally one time.
I rode it with the beach balls.
Wow. Okay.
Because I was there,
right
like, opening.
I rode it probably the entire time. It ran 3 times probably, and it was one of those things that like I'd go on if I were in the park with somebody who had never been to the park.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, we're gonna experience as much as you want. So, whatever. It'll probably be simpler maintenance than the Flying Tires were.
Yeah,
that's my guess. And in case that happened, and let's fly. Let's over to Walt Disney World.
Yay!
So, over at Walt Disney World, at the Hollywood Studios, there's a little bit of rumor stuff going around. It sounds completely logical to me. We all know that the animation, what was it called? Not the Animation Academy. The Magic of Disney Animation recently closed.
Yes.
And we're hearing they're going to have like a Blue Sky Cellar type of thing, which, if you're not familiar with this, we had it over here at Disney California Adventure for a long time.
Don't anymore.
No, we don't. But it's a kind of a good thing because the point of Blue Sky Cellar is we have major changes going on. There's a lot of construction. We apologize, but here's what you're going to be getting, so please be patient. That's basically what it is. And
it's going to happen with the new expansion coming to Disneyland, hopefully.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Maybe. Where do you think that? Maybe the Magic Eye Theater, which is no longer the Magic Eye Theater, by the way. It's the Tomorrowland Theater.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
any case, so there are rumors that that's going to happen at the Hollywood Studios. Makes total sense. We're obviously getting a name change and complete retheming of that park. So I like the idea of doing it. That something needs to happen fast though, because I feel like people are getting impatient with not knowing what's happening at Disney Hollywood Studios. And fun little fact. You may not know this. When Walt Disney, before he opened Walt Disney World, he didn't call it the Blue Sky Cellar, but he had a very similar thing. Like before Walt Disney World opened, he had a location that people could go to at Walt Disney World property and show like what he was doing.
Oh wow.
So yeah. Cool. So I like that.
Nice.
I'm a nerd that way.
Little things.
I'm a nerd that way. So that's happening. Also at the Hollywood Studios. Shall we bring it back? It's Frozen News of the Week. This is not officially back. Don't get excited.
More Frozen.
Frozen news. Hey, let's face it though. It's been a while since we've had some like real legit Frozen news. So,
but I'm just for Hollywood Studios. It's not Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, they're getting the Ice Palace Boutique and Cafe. So what does this mean?
A permanent Frozen fixture.
It's basic. It's basically Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique Frozen style, and it's kind of pricey. It starts at $75, goes all the way up to $240, depending on what you're doing.
Great, I'll take the $240.
Excellent. So I think that means you'll get a cupcake with it because it's a cafe as well.
Yes.
So while you wait, you can get little desserts, and the whole concept is you're getting dressed up and prepared for Coronation Day. And then I've got, of course, VIP seating at the sing-along. So I don't know where they're putting it though.
A lot of Anna and Elsa's gonna be running around.
Seriously. And do they do them at the Bibbidi Bobbidi at this point? I don't know if they do Anna and Elsa there. My guess would be yes.
Let us know.
Let us know. Let us know. What? Did I just do that?
Yep.
Just happened. So that's happening. And a little more Disney Hollywood Studios news. And this is actually shocking, surprising, wonderful, all at the same time. Because Hollywood Studios, or Walt Disney World's Fantasmic, does not often update. And they plussed the show a little.
It's not like
not like Disneyland.
I guess. I feel like they do like once a year.
Okay, well, they got the digital projectors, but that's not the exciting thing.
Yeah, they got all new projectors.
Yeah, Frozen and Tangled are now part of Fantasmic. And
in the projections?
In the bubble sequence. Oh. So no soundtrack has changed. The soundtrack to Fantasmic has never changed. Not here at Disneyland, not at Walt Disney World. I assume it never will. And that's fine. I'm perfectly cool with that. But in that sequence of like the bubbles of all the... Although, now that I think of it, in that sequence, the bubbles kind of match up with musical melodies from the films. Kind of. Although you could definitely sneak things in there and musically it wouldn't matter. But Frozen and Tangled have been added. So
awesome.
They plussed Fantasmic a little bit over at Walt Disney World. That's kind of cool. What else is going on? Oh, PhotoPass. Have you seen this? They're finally copyrighting their photos.
Yeah. Watermarks
all
over it.
Explain, if just in case you don't know what the locals do.
Yeah. So when you get a PhotoPass, you have it's usually like a month or so after, like, from when you get your pictures taken, or you can go online, take a look at them. You can, they're like tiny, but like, of course, they used to have like a little watermark in the corner. They encrypt them so you can't like right click and save. But a lot of people usually just go on there and like screenshot them because, hey, free pictures, when it's only supposed to meant to be a preview so you can then buy them. However, now, I mean, you can still screenshot them, but your entire picture is going to be watermarked all over because they have Disney PhotoPass almost in every corner of the picture and in the center and everywhere.
But I believe that's not it. Have you heard about like live in person in the parks?
No.
The screens after your ride, you know how you snap a photo?
Yeah.
Those have the watermarks all over them now.
Perfect.
So normally, if you're local, and honestly, I always thought Disney was cool for allowing this because I know Universal's like very strict about it. Like they don't even put stuff up on screens anymore unless you're like at the register with somebody to pay. But like, they Splash Mountain, Space Mountain, whatever, the big rides, they have the photos and they have the screen so you can see your image and you can decide to go buy it. Well, locals often just take their phone and give a little click and take it's a poor quality photo. Oh, yeah. And that's how I always felt. I was like, you know what? Somebody who wants that poor quality photo isn't going to buy one. So it's cool that they just let you do it. Now it's got the watermarks all over it. So that's happening. So that magic is done.
What I think is, I remember last summer they were going through a testing process that we might have talked about before, where they were offering digital downloads of the on-ride photos. So instead of buying a printed out one for, say, $9.99 or whatever the price is.
More like $29.99.
You could buy just a digital one, so you can post on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, and it was $1.
That's smart.
99 cents.
Yeah, and it never took off, I guess.
And to be honest, like, I would have paid that $1 instead of snapping that photo.
Yeah.
They did the tests. I think it only lasted like a week. Nothing progressed from it, but like, Yeah, and like they could have earned an extra $1 from me.
I'm curious if by putting this watermark on the screen, if they see their numbers go up at all. My guess would be minuscule amounts, 1%, 2% more, maybe. But I don't know. I feel like if you're snapping a photo, you didn't care that much.
I'm gonna say, like, in this day and age, obviously, digital is the way to go. Like,
if you ask me, they should be free, and they should hashtag the heck out, watermark them with hashtags.
Yeah, for
and
real.
seriously, it's free marketing. Like, that's how it should be. I think Buzz Lightyear has something like that.
Yeah, Buzz Lightyear in Disneyland, and then Spaceship Earth. You can send it to your email address.
Yeah, like, I don't know. It doesn't cost anything. It's digital. We're not printing anything. So, in any case, I digress. That became a way longer conversation than I ever intended it to be, but it happened. Now let's go to TV. We've been talking to parks. Let's go to TV. Something crazy is happening on the Disney Channel, and it's called
The Muppets.
No.
It's called the newest Disney Channel original movie, Descendants. So we've seen some footage of Descendants, which is going to be premiering on Disney Channel end of the month.
Friday.
Yeah, the 31st. And they released the first 6 minutes, where it's kind of like the intro song, and they also released a 1-minute clip of a version of Be Our Guest.
Okay. Let's just say off the top, we actually haven't discussed this. Maybe you loved it. It's not our demographic.
No.
The film is not made for us. But having said that,
if you wanna, go ahead, take the characters. You can make derivatives of their children and stuff. But please don't take a classic Disney song and rip it to shreds.
Yeah, that's my biggest complaint. The Be Our Guest remix is terrible. They've been doing this for a while. They've done like Miley Cyrus singing Kiss the Girl and stuff like that.
Part of Your World,
whatever. And there's somebody else sings Kiss Girl. Maybe it's Hilary
Ashley
Duff
Tisdale.
or something. Sorry, Wit. I just said Hilary Duff and it wasn't very nice light, but Wit is obsessed with Hilary Duff.
It was Ashley Tisdale, though.
Oh, whatever. Just as bad. I'm sure Hilary Duff did something terrible. But in any case, yeah, to take those classic songs and do that to them, I just don't understand it. And, like, frankly, if I were Alan Menken, I'd be like, can I put a bullet in my head? Like, this is terrible.
Yeah.
One cool thing I liked, and of course, everything's about being modern and hip, but you know how all the classic Disney animated films start with the storybook pop up and whatever? This starts with an iPad, which I thought was hilarious and stupid and wonderful all at the same time.
Yeah. Like I said, like the Be Our Guest 1 minute that they released, the most terrible thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
The first 6 minutes, I didn't hate it.
I think that the concept is interesting.
I think they went about it in a very, like we said before, it's not our demographic, so it's a very, like, kiddie way.
Here's my biggest argument, and I have the same thing when it came to, like, toward the end of the run of Glee and all that type of stuff, is I feel like I'm listening to robots sing. Like, auto-tune is a fine tool to use in post-production in necessary moments, but oh my god, these don't even sound like human voices anymore.
No, yeah.
And I sound like such an old man.
No. But one of the biggge complaints for me, too, is I don't know, like, I watched it a couple times.
Why?
No, because, I watched some of the first song a couple times because I didn't know if it was my computer, but I swear the singing doesn't match up to their lips.
Oh, interesting. I didn't notice that, but to be honest, I would not have replayed it. So it was there was a song called Rotten to the Core, which frankly, if you're going to make bad auto-tuned music, I would rather it be an original song other than a classic like Be Our Guest. So
they did that.
I don't
know. Of course, one thing I noticed is there's a little dance break at the end, which is totally Newsies.
Oh yeah, well,
but a modernized Newsies. And one more pet peeve is one of the lyrics in the songs that they did said "mirror, mirror on the wall," and I was like, that is not the correct quote.
Yeah, that's often misquoted. What's the actual quote?
Magic mirror.
Magic mirror on the wall. Yeah, it's so funny when stuff like, isn't it like in Star Wars, Darth Vader never actually says, Luke, I am your father. It's actually, no, I am your father. I believe.
Something like that.
Yeah. So, in any case, the one other thing I want to mention about Descendants, actually, was there something else? There was something else, and now I completely blanked on it. Rotten to the Core was the song. I thought it was very smart how they chose it to be Belle and Beast's son who makes the decision of bringing the children of the villains to their island. Mm-hmm. Because there's a line where Belle, I believe, says to Beast, she goes, remember when I gave you a chance? Because, obviously Belle and Beast at first weren't happy to hear, we can't bring these villains to our home. And Belle goes, remember when I gave you a chance and you were misunderstood? Or something like that. I was like, you know what? Smart choice.
And then the moment was ruined because the next line after that was, it was either you or the teacup.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, what? Or the teapot. I was like, okay, you just ruined everything.
But it was a little bit smarter than I expected. So in any case, Descendants comes out Friday. I'm sure we'll see it.
We'll watch it.
We'll give you a full review next time or sometime after. That's Descendants. Speaking of more TV, the Muppets pitch, we both saw a while ago, but it's now available.
Yeah.
We'll stick it on our Facebook page. So go there, and if it's not there, it will be there in a couple days. And it's just the pitch that sold the idea to ABC and supposedly got a standing ovation in the room of these TV executives, which is not to be taken lightly. That's a big deal. So it's really funny. If you're a Muppets fan, it's great. Even if you're not a Muppets fan,
it's 10 minutes.
It's 10 minutes.
Go for it.
It's a great pitch. I'm curious to see if it's going to be if that's going to be part of the pilot or if they're shooting like a whole separate pilot. But it premieres September 22nd on ABC. So from TV to movies, let's talk about this new thing, Disney Screen, which is kind of interesting. Explain the basic concept.
So basically, we all love Disney classic movies, and sometimes we all love going to the movies.
And sometimes we've never even seen them on the big screen because they're so old.
So there's a program going through select Cinemark theaters where you can actually go and see your favorite Disney movies on the big screen the way they're meant to be seen.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's very limited now. It's there's screens in Texas, Illinois, Ohio, Florida, California. So it's pretty limited. And my guess is they want to expand this. I don't know how huge Cinemark is, to be honest. I've never heard of Cinemark theaters.
I've heard of Cinemark.
It's not AMC.
No.
Okay. Meaning it's just not as big as AMC. I wasn't actually confusing the two. But so each week they're going to have 4 classic films that they're going to show each film once a day. And the way that they're selling tickets is interesting. It's passes. You can buy a day pass, a weekly pass, a monthly, or a quarterly pass. Day pass starting at $5 and then the quarterly going up to $40. But you can watch all 4 films for $5.
$5.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I got to say, they're starting off with 2 of the 4 films. One is your favorite and one is my favorite. We got
Hercules and Little Mermaid.
Hercules and Little Mermaid, and then Jungle Book and Aristocats.
What a good lineup.
So Aristocats I find to be an interesting choice. And of course they're going to have themes. I know one of the weeks is like a Pixar week and one is like an animal week, which I'm like, why don't you just say a Disney week? I mean, an animal week is pretty much just a Disney movie. But so yeah, Jungle Book, Aristocats, Hercules and Mermaid. So that's pretty cool. So it's unique. I feel like they're trying new things with their classic animated films, which is interesting and fun. It sounds better to me than this whole Disney Movies Anywhere thing.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'm just not, the whole digital download thing, I'm not crazy about. But in any case, that's happening. So speaking of movie news, there are more live action remakes happening from the animated to live action. We're getting an Aladdin prequel, which we've talked about the fact that we're like, how are they going to do it without Robin Williams type of thing on here? But now there's a film coming out called Genies, and it's a prequel to Aladdin all about the origins of the genie.
So it's very Genie specific.
This is very daring, in my opinion. My guess is that most of the film, the genie is in human form, and it's like at the end that he becomes the blue genie that we recognize and know. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this one.
See, this kind of makes excited and mad because I'm excited the fact that they are doing a interpretation of a live-action Aladdin. But I wanted Aladdin.
Yeah, well, supposedly that's actually, they're saying there will be a sequel. It'll be a live-action Aladdin.
Great.
And then some people are like, what about Return of Jafar? So I was like, I don't know. But supposedly there is going to be an Aladdin one as well. But, you know, this trend keeps going with these live-action remakes. I think it's really daring and gutsy to do it without Robin Williams. But we'll see what happens. I'm curious to see who they cast. It's going to be John Goodman. John Goodman is the new Genie.
Done.
And guess what? More live action.
More.
In the form of The Sword and the Stone.
Yeah.
I actually think this one will be a great live action movie. Especially, did you hear Brian Cogman, who writes for Game of Thrones, is involved?
Yes.
And
please.
Yeah, well, you're a huge Game of Thrones fan. I'm not so much, but I recognize the fact that like that type of storytelling is appropriate for Sword in the Stone.
Oh, yeah.
And I really like Sword in the Stone. It's one of those like forgotten Disney animated films, I feel like, but it's really good. And I love Merlin. I'm looking forward to that. I think it'll be very adult and possibly dark.
I want so bad a Black Cauldron live action rated R.
I wouldn't hold
Disney.
your breath. Rated R Disney, not even Touchstone, Disney.
At least PG-13.
Okay.
I want Black Cauldron. Because I am the
I've never seen it.
loser or the
Amazing loser?
out of the box person who, like, Black Cauldron was, like, my favorite Disney movie growing up.
What was like, how old were you first time you saw it?
4 or 5?
Wow. See, I've never
It's super scary.
I've never seen it mostly because of availability. Like, I don't even... Is it on Netflix now?
I had that VHS.
Is it on VHS? Okay.
I had that VHS.
You still have it?
I rewound it. I don't know where it is. But The Horned King was the scariest thing ever. And I love that movie. So, live action.
Huh. And that's right when, like, Katzenberg and stuff went in. That film was already in the process, and there was a mess. And that's when he was like, yes, you can edit animated films. And nobody thought you could. Anyway. I should see that sometime. I wonder if it's on Netflix. I should look into that.
Live action.
But in any case, that's not being made into live action. It's one of the few that aren't, as you said, Sword in the Stone. So here is the slate for live action that we've got listed. Through the Looking Glass, The Jungle Book, Beauty and the Beast, Mulan, Dumbo, Winnie the Pooh, Pinocchio, Tink, a Maleficent sequel, the Prince Charming movie, Night on Bald Mountain, Genies, and The Sword in the Stone. That makes 13. 13 animated to live action in development or being shot or whatever at some point of process right now.
That's a lot.
That's a ton. Slow down, Disney. Slow down.
And they still are pumping out their, obviously, animations. So, like, there's a lot of Disney movies coming out.
Yeah. I don't want a Little Mermaid live action. I really don't. Yes, I do. Who am I kidding? I really do. I really do. I don't want a Hercules live action. That would be weird. Anywho, speaking of movies, once again, Good Dinosaur came out with a full trailer. No more teaser stuff anymore. We're getting a full Good Dinosaur trailer. I gotta say, it hasn't changed my opinion. I'm equally as excited about it now. How about you?
I think it definitely sets the... I've watched the trailer a couple of times, read into it a lot, heard a lot of things about it. I've heard definitely the mood of the trailer is the mood of the entire movie.
Okay, so it's gonna be fun buddy film.
Yes. Obviously, if you know, there's been a couple debates going along online about the trailer and how there was no dialogue, and people are speculating because of the recasting of voices. Apparently, that's not true. They perfectly did it without dialogue.
They made it a silent movie. It's like WALL-E.
Yeah,
it's like WALL-E. No dialogue.
But if you notice, which I noticed particularly, is how crazy the hyper realistic background animation is.
I was gonna say this because it reminded me, if you remember years ago, I think it was the 90s at this point, Dinosaur, where Dinosaur was a Disney animated film that shot live locations and then computer generated dinosaurs and put them in these live locations. It looks like Dinosaur. Like, these worlds that they've created, the dinosaurs are very cartoony.
Yes.
but the worlds that they've created look so real. And you know, I felt like this seeing Inside Out and looking at San Francisco, and then in Big Hero 6 looking at San Francisco. I'm like, these places look so real at this point. Like, they don't even look like animated movies, and that kind of bums me out, to be honest.
The opening shot is just leaves on a branch, and I questioned whether that was animation. Yeah, but somehow it is.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's an impressive feat. Don't get me wrong. It's amazing that they can do that. I just don't know. It's like, well, let's just shoot a live movie. If that's what we're going to create in a computer, shouldn't it be a different art form? So, but the one thing I notice is I am curious to see if this gets incorporated into that area of Animal Kingdom, the dinosaur playground area, because they look like that. They look very cartoony. If what is that land called at Animal Kingdom? Dinoland. It's very cartoony, over the top dinosaurs, fair like atmosphere, and these dinosaurs would fit right in there.
Yeah.
So curious to see if that happens. And another little bit of news. Going to theater now. We've hit it all today. We've hit TV, we've hit theme parks, we've hit movies. Now theater. Pinocchio is becoming a stage musical, which you know me in the musical theater, I'm pretty excited about this. So that means the musical team from Once, Once, is involved with this. I'm not too familiar with Once. I know you're a big fan of it.
I've seen it.
I've been avoiding it because of a certain someone in the show, but you can probably figure that out. But so here's something cool. There's going to be, there's going to be music from the movie Pinocchio, as well as unused music that was made for the movie that they didn't use, and then some new music. And then I'm also hearing rumors of other Disney music. So like pulling some stuff from the Disney trunk and working it into Pinocchio.
Yeah, let it go.
So oh God. That'd be Pinocchio's stuck in Geppetto's cage. He's like, let me go. That'd be so bad if he broke in his song. Oh God.
Let it go.
No.
I mean, we still have Frozen to look forward to.
Frozen the musical, which we're all gonna go see, of course. But Pinocchio, I think it's going to premiere at the over in London, not Broadway. Okay. Is what they're talking now, and the plots are going to be based. They're going to go back to the original source of the book, and it should be pretty awesome. I think that's a great one to put on stage.
You know what I think a great one is?
What?
Hunchback.
Oh, don't even get me going. Why do you do that to me?
But it will never happen.
I introduced somebody to that film the other night. He had never seen it. I was like, we're watching it. So we did, and then I watched Rocketeer, which I had never seen, and he was like, you have to see Rocketeer. Have you seen Rocketeer?
Nope.
Not my favorite, not gonna lie, folks. Not my favorite. It was fine. Beautiful James Horner score, very Titanic score. But Rocketeer came first. But in any case, I think it came first. I could be wrong about that. In any case, we're about to head to trivia, but before we do that, I want to mention we still have a contest going on.
We do.
Disneyland 60th Anniversary Contest. And guess what? There's going to be another way to enter. You've already perhaps entered by leaving a comment on YouTube and or signing up for the newsletter, but guess what? You can enter a third time, and that's by leaving us a review on iTunes. So go to DisneyCoastToCoast.com, click on the contest tab. You can find the link there. Leave us a review, and that's another entry. And people are excited about this prize because it's Disneyland's 60th anniversary.
Who's not excited about that?
I'm excited. I don't even want to give it away anymore. I'm going to enter so I can win. How about that? Doesn't work that way, folks. But so in any case, that means it's trivia time! Hey folks, today for trivia we have the Disneyland Gazette with us. Now the Disneyland Gazette keeps you in touch with the land through discussions of the latest Disney headlines, on-scene audio reports, and other fun Disneyland-themed segments. And from the Disneyland Gazette, we have Kyle here with us. Hello, Kyle.
Hello, how you doing?
Good, and we can find you at DisneylandGazette.com, correct?
Yep, me and the whole team that apparently have real jobs and couldn't be here today.
That's okay, we'll get them in for another future episode, so not a problem. But, so we've got some Disneyland trivia, considering you guys should be like, the authorities on this. Your podcast is all about just Disneyland, right?
Yeah, we talk a little bit about movies and stuff, but definitely focused on Disneyland, so...
Great. So let's. Why don't you hit us first with some trivia?
Okay. Well, our show is kind of newspaper themed, so I thought I'd go with something that actually relates to like real news. And so, my question for you is: how many sitting presidents have ever visited the Disneyland Resort or Disneyland Park?
Oh, so sitting presidents. I have a number in mind. I don't know if it's true or not. Pat, what do you think? Don't tell. We're gonna give answers, but don't tell us just yet because
8.
He says 8. I'm gonna guess like 5. So let's think. So I don't think Obama's done Disneyland, has he? Has Obama done it? Yeah, has Obama done it?
No.
No, I didn't think so. So I feel like Reagan definitely did. Although, well, he probably did while he was president. Actually, sitting presidents might be less than 5.
Yeah.
It's probably like 2. I'm gonna guess like Ronald Reagan and Carter, maybe.
I'm gonna go with 4.
What? Do you have any idea which ones?
Nope, I'm just going with 4.
He's going with 4. I'm going with 2. What's the answer?
The answer is 0. Yeah.
Even Walt's buddy Ronald Reagan never showed up.
Well, I mean, he would be the first presidential visit retroactively because he didn't go when he was serving, but obviously was there on opening day. But actually, only 4 sitting presidents have visited a Disney park. Some others have visited nearby locations in Walt Disney World and stuff, but all 4, as far as theme parks, were in Disney World. Jimmy Carter was the first at Magic Kingdom, and then Ronald Reagan actually visited Epcot. George H.W. Bush was in Epcot, and then Obama was in Magic Kingdom.
Oh, when was Obama?
I was right with 4, just not at Disneyland.
Wrong coast, right number. There we go.
There you go.
When was Obama at Walt Disney World?
It was in
I feel like I remember
2012.
Yeah, I remember like he came for a tourism speech. I remember that. Oh. Yeah, he was promoting tourism, so he came to Orlando.
Because Walt Disney World needs the president to tell people to go there.
Yep.
I feel like there's so many other places that he could have gone that probably could have used the help a bit more, but that's all right. That's funny. Fun little fact, though. 0 have been to Disneyland. It's a little disappointing. We need to catch up.
Several other presidents who didn't go while they were sitting, but all the way from Truman, Eisenhower, John F. Kennedy, obviously Reagan, Gerald Ford, and Jimmy Carter have all gone, but just at different times.
Interesting. Fun.
Good to know.
Are you ready to be stumped?
Yeah, essentially.
Okay.
Well, we'll see. So in the Pirates of the Caribbean ride,
okay,
there's a real human skull. Do you know where you can find that?
Is it in the area where they're like with the drinking and the like stuff goes through their, like the tubing and stuff?
Kind of. A little more specifically.
Oh, it's on like a table or something, isn't it? No? Okay. That's as close as I'm going to get. I think it's somewhere in that area.
Okay.
Well, it is in the treasure room, which is kind of that area, but there's one area where there's a giant bed and a skeleton sitting on it, and up on the headboard there's a skull, and it's a real human skull.
Do you know who that belongs to?
Walt Disney.
Walt Disney.
That's not true. How weird would that be? That'd actually be disturbing. I'm a little sad I even said that. That's sad. But no, I don't know who it belongs to, but I have heard, I don't know if this is 100% true or not, but I heard when that ride actually opened, all of the skeletons were real because they couldn't make them look real enough back then, and Walt was dissatisfied with the fake ones. So I had heard that they were all real. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure whether or not that's true, but this one is definitely real, and it's up on the headboard. So you can think about that the next time you're going through. And frankly, instead of leaving my body to science once I'm dead, I might just leave it to a Disney park and be like, put me in somewhere.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan.
Where would they...
Not that creepy when you think about it. Like, when you think about the human head, because, medical hospitals and stuff, I'm sure, use those to teach people on real human bodies, but it's not like someone went out and killed someone and then put their head in the ride, so.
Maybe that should be like this is going down such a dark path here, but if you die at a Disney park, I think that you should have the opportunity to be put into an attraction.
That's
yeah, it's like one of those cards.
Actually, if that were the case, one of those cards...
It's like an organ donor card,
yeah,
but it's like Disney donator.
Disney donor card. And honestly, though, it would not surprise me, and I'm being serious when I say this, if they had something like that, let's just say somebody was near the end of their life and they knew it. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody like would just kill themselves in a Disney park to be put into a Disney attraction. So it's probably not a good idea.
No.
Let's not do it.
Within like a year, the graveyard of the Haunted Mansion would be like an actual graveyard.
Yeah, that'd be weird. This trivia went down a really weird path, but I love it. It is my fault, and I take full responsibility. It was fun doing it. Kyle, thank you so much for being on the show. Like I said at the beginning, to check them out, check out DisneylandGazette.com. Okay, folks, that's going to do it for us this week. And as always, you can connect with us on places like
YouTube
and
Facebook
and
Twitter
and
Instagram, iTunes, SoundCloud, Tumblr.
Excellent. I think that's all of it. Everything is at DisneyCoastToCoast.com. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week. See you next time. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Disney Coast to Coast. Have a magical day.
Hey folks, and welcome to Disney Coast to Coast, the ultimate unofficial Disney fan podcast. I'm Jeff DePaoli.
And I'm Patrick Dougal.
And happy 60th birthday, Disneyland! Confetti! Woo!
I didn't get any on my tongue.
Did you want some on your tongue?
No.
Open up.